Aloha! You're listening to Stellar Gnosis. I'm your host for today, Star Fox, and joining me are my co-hosts,
The Trinity,
and Seven.
Today we're going to be discussing lucid dreaming.
Awesome.
Yes! Love the dreamscape. So, do you guys know what lucid dreaming is? I would be surprised if you didn't.
I have an idea of what it is, but please tell us.
But have you experienced it?
I have very briefly, but I smoke way too much weed to remember my dreams.
Yes. Even without the weed, many struggle to remember their dreams. But maybe after today, you'll have some tips and tricks on how to better recall your dreams.
Hopefully.
All right. So I'll start by explaining to our listeners what lucid dreaming is. So lucid dreaming is basically when a person becomes conscious and aware that they're dreaming without waking up and instead remaining in their dream state. So this typically happens during a REM state of sleeping, and REM stands for your rapid eye movement state, or otherwise known as your dream stage of sleeping. So an interesting thing is that when you're in this state, most of our muscles become paralyzed in order to prevent us from injuring ourselves while we're acting out our dreams. However, our eye muscles are still able to move. And somebody did not give my boyfriend's body that memo because he punches me in the face all the damn time when we are sleeping. He is definitely not paralyzed. So I don't know if that applies to everybody, but typically that's how it works. And if you're familiar with sleep paralysis, which is a very terrifying experience for most.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
That may occur when you're trying to lucid dream. And from what I was reading, it seems like it's when you're stuck in between your awake state and your REM state. You're either coming out of it or going into it. So it's like the limbo in between, and your body is paralyzed. It starts being paralyzed, but physically your eyes are still open. So you can't move, and people see shadows and other manifestations and things, which I think is the dream aspects coming in while you're still awake.
I don't know. I think they may be ghosts.
They could be.
Because you're in between those realms, right? Yes. So you're looking in between the spiritual realm, the dream realm, and then this realm.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there like one thing that's consistent? Like we have to be in a certain brainwave state in order to
yes,
get
your REM
into
state. Your REM state.
Yeah, but some people don't get sleep paralysis, like you said.
No, some people don't. It's more common when you're laying on your back. What I read. Same with lucid dreaming. If you're trying to lucid dream, it's better to lay on your back to do so.
That's how I sleep.
Yeah, but so I don't like to sleep on my back. I don't get as good of a rest, and when I do, sometimes I get sleep paralysis, and it is freaky deaky.
Does anybody else experience that feeling where you have the urge to flip when you're sleeping in a certain way? I do.
That's interesting. I wonder where that's from.
I don't know. Maybe I was a fish in a past life.
Maybe you were a Pisces. Who knows? Yeah, but it's interesting too. Like I could do a whole cast on sleep paralysis. It's such a cool phenomenon, and I think there's a special on certain viewing platforms about sleep paralysis and people sharing their stories. And an interesting thing is people from all around the world will experience having the same types of sleep paralysis. Like they'll see the same shadow people, or another one that people see as a cat, like a demon cat with red eyes that sits on their chest.
I was gonna say that's cute.
Yeah, and it's so strange that people from all over the world would have the same vision. So that gives weight to your theory, Trinity, of us kind of tapping into the realm between realms, and those same monsters being seen by everybody. Like when people do DMT and they see the same figures. It's like, are we being transported to this place, or are those things already there and the thin is just thinner? The veil is thinner, right?
I totally think that everything is happening here in the now, all dimensions, all times. That's why when you manifest, you're basically raising your vibrational frequency and obtaining that level of awareness so that you can be on the path where you want to be in the manifestation too, right?
Yeah, so what you're saying is like the higher you go in your vibrational frequency, the thinner things are, the more realms you can see into, right?
Yes, well, pretty much, yeah.
Is it like tuning into a frequency, like getting a more clear signal of a radio station?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Clearing, clear.
Yeah. All right, getting the static out.
Exactly, clear out that static.
And then the messages can come through, right?
Exactly. It's interesting that you say that people have that pressure on their chest. I've actually heard of that too. And I know that George Norrie calls it the old hag lady.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that it's happened to him and a few people that he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a common
Some people
thing.
hear whispers. When it happened to me, I saw like the shadow of Mickey Mouse, like a demonic black shadow of Mickey Mouse standing in my doorway. And
Well, that's creepy.
it was super creepy.
I'm here to kill you.
And that was my one moment with sleep paralysis. I had another experience that we'll talk about in our ET special, where everyone kept telling me it was sleep paralysis, but I know it was aliens that were there.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me
it's
this.
very different than any sleep paralysis story I've heard, but that's for another day.
Oh, you're not going to tell us today?
I can't do that.
Okay, I'll tell you guys. Basically, I woke up to a very loud ringing in my ears, which is normally in the spiritual world known as a download of information or something coming through from another frequency. So I wake up to this ringing in my ears and I can't move. And that's the part where people try to tell me it was sleep paralysis because I couldn't move. And I wanted so badly to turn over. I was laying on my stomach, actually.
So you have
or on my
that.
side. And I could see this blue glowing light emanating from my peripherals. Like whatever was there was bright blue. And the other times I've had, on a side note, the other times I've experienced alien phenomenon, they had bright blue auras like I'm describing. So it was that same color and light.
The Arcturians.
I could feel presences in my room. Like I could feel something, like a group of something there.
So was it making you feel anxiety or was it making you feel happy? Like what were you feeling?
When it was happening, I was terrified because I couldn't move, and I really wanted to see what was there. And the ringing kept getting louder and louder and louder.
Wow!
To the point where it was deafening. Like I wanted to rip my ears off. So and I couldn't speak. So I tried with all my might. I'm like, you need to scream. Like you need to scream over this sound. You need to find a way to like make it stop. So I took all of my brain power and just went. And eventually my screams started coming out and getting louder and louder and louder. And as I screamed bloody murder,
everyone on the bus turned around at you.
The ringing went away. And once the ringing left, the blue faded out of my periffs and I could suddenly feel my body again. And the craziest part of it all is my dog Osric, who was Jack Russell, who would wake up at the drop of a pin barking, like protecting me.
Yeah.
He didn't hear me scream at all. I just stared at him in bewilderment, thinking like, how are you still asleep, bro? Like dead ass asleep. Like you should have been like barking your head off. And it wasn't like I went from asleep to awake like I have with sleep paralysis. I know what's happening, and I feel myself when I come out of it. It felt so different than when I actually experienced sleep paralysis after.
Now, when you got out of your bed after this, right, because you were sleeping, what did you do after having this experience?
So I was pretty freaked out. I had no idea what to think. The next day, I started doing research on blue lights and ringing in your ears,
Palladians,
and started realizing like, apparently there's this alien collective called the Palladians. So I was just found and was reading a book of Palladian channelings, and suddenly now they're popping up with these blue auric fields. And then it goes on to say, just randomly in the same article about it, and they're also known to send downloads and be spirit guides. And when you get a download, it sounds like a ringing in your ear.
Wow, you must have got a big download, girl.
So I was just like, this is total resonating with my experience. It was explaining every aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are the odds that like, I don't even think I went looking for it. I think I was just I was in my spiritual awakening at the time at 19, and I just happened to come across these articles, and as soon as I saw them talking about the blue oryx, I was like, oh, that looks just like the light that I saw in my bed last night, and then explained the download, the ringing, and I was like, oh my God, it's like they planted this on my past to tell me this is what happened.
Yep. Nothing's a coincidence in your reality.
Yes.
The universe is always sending you messages, and are you woke or awake enough to see them?
Yes. And then when I actually experienced sleep paralysis, I knew it wasn't the same experience I had that first time.
You could tell right away, right?
Yeah, because when I came out of my experience, I remember opening my eyes and being like, okay, I was just asleep. But this time I was awake the whole time. There was no like transition, have you? It was just like the ringing died and the light got dimmer and then I could feel it.
So you were scared, not because of the beings there, but the fact that you were unable to move.
Yeah, it was more so that I couldn't move at a muscle and I couldn't speak either to be like, and the ringing just kept getting louder and louder to the point where it was painful.
Well, from my research, they say the reason why you get paralyzed in the presence of these ETs and higher vibrational frequency beings is because they are in such a different frequency than we are. They have to come down to our frequency, and because they're still vibrating at a high frequency, it paralyzes us. So that could be the reason why they were in your presence. They could have been healing something in you. I mean,
or just putting a lot of information into me at once, because after that I started making videos on YouTube about spirituality and creating books on or groups on Facebook, networks of light workers and stuff. Before, this is like 10, 11, 12 years ago, when these things didn't exist in the way they do now, where it was very taboo and like alternative, right?
Yeah.
So I think they were programming my mission, or like giving me information to deliver to the masses.
They knew where you'd be right now.
Yes. So that's that story. And to go back to lucid dreaming.
Oh yeah.
My one experience with lucid dreaming. Actually, you know what? I'll wait till I'm talking about wormwood, because that'll be a good time to insert that story. So we'll move on. So yeah, it's a form of metacognition, and when you're conscious, it's when you're conscious of your own consciousness. So you're aware of your own awareness. And most importantly, what I think is best about lucid dreaming is it allows you to control what happens in your dream. So you can create and manipulate your own dreamscape and your own dream experiences. And the possibilities there are freaking endless. So there's a psychopsychologist named Dr. Stephen LaBerge, or LaBerge. I'm going to say LaBerge because it sounds French. Do you know this guy?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm reading in David Wilcock's book, he references him as well.
You guys didn't get to see Trinity's face there, but her jaw dropped when I said his name.
What a synchronicity.
I know.
Wow.
Love that. Love that for us. Okay, so so he's a pioneer of lucid dreaming research, and over the last 20 years, he not only invented one of the most popular lucid dreaming techniques, but he also led a lot of scientific studies on the subject.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
I've been trying this since, I don't know, I was maybe 14.
Yes.
And I've never found a method that works every time. And maybe it's just my vibration at the time. Did he develop this theory after extensive testing? Like,
it's not a theory, it's more so techniques on how to train your brain, or just influence your brain so that you're more likely to have those experiences. They're not a sure bet, but they definitely can assist.
I'm going to try these.
Because, to be honest, lucid dreaming often happens spontaneously.
Yes.
But
from my
it is
experience,
something that you can practice, and it takes time, and I'll tell you some of the things you can do with that.
I'm going to be taking notes on this.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? I told you how I made, after that experience, I started making YouTube videos. Guess what one of my first YouTube videos was?
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. And I got to watch like 19-year-old me while I was making this podcast, while writing up my notes
in the time machine,
giving myself advice, giving myself notes. Yeah, the time machine, that is YouTube. He did a lot of research, and his research helped discover a variety of therapeutic benefits of lucid dreaming. And he and a lot of other people who study it now believe that it can be used to treat a multitude of conditions like PTSD, reoccurring nightmares, depression, anxiety, stress, insomnia, and how it works.
Sign me up.
Right? And how it works in pertaining to those things is it allows people to relive and rewrite certain traumatic situations that have caused them stress, anxiety, PTSD, by refacing those fears in a way that they can take control of the situation and how it affects them.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so if you're in a car accident, you can relive that and take control of the ending, or at least how it affected you, and cope through it, right? So anything that caused you stress or anxiety, you can face it. You rewrite it and re-experience it in a positive way, which we were talking about this in the car, right?
Yeah, we were talking about this.
In pertaining to something else.
Does this have anything to do with the Akashic records? Like, are you able to...
I'm sure there's links there. I didn't get that deep into it, but I could probably guarantee there is. I've accessed the Akashic records unintentionally. Wormwood again. Wait till we get there.
Oh, I'm excited for that story.
But yeah, so it also can help train one's mind to work towards certain goals while they sleep, such as improving their confidence, their athletic abilities, or even overcoming substance abuse. So how that works is you can play out various social situations, like going to a party, for example, and it allows the dreamer to practice engaging with others in a no-pressure, non-threatening scenario where, again, they feel in total control of the outcome. So if you have social anxiety, you can practice being at a party and stuff, but knowing that it's not real and that you're in control. You're just practicing.
Your brain doesn't know the difference.
Yes. Same with an addict. They can practice being in crowds and situations and being offered and taking control and saying no. And practice makes perfect, right? The more you live it, the more you're creating it. So I thought that was really cool. And they even say that people who've been severely injured can use this as a tool for physical rehabilitation. So by mentally performing motor skills and body functions, it can increase someone's ability to physically perform them once they are out of a dream state, which is, again, like mind over matter, you know, in The Secret, where that guy who loses his leg function in an accident, he tells himself every day that he's going to walk, and he envisions himself walking when he's dreaming and even in his waking life.
Yep, that's a huge thing in manifestation too. Visualizing, like concise, positive words, clear visualization, and corresponding emotions.
Yeah, so it's just like it goes hand in hand with that, but in your dream life versus in your waking life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. And there's this quote that has always followed me from the movie Waking Life, which, if you're into anything dreamy, you would love The Waking Life. And they say dream is destiny. So that to me is like you can create your waking life through your dream life.
I've heard even athletes replaying certain scenarios and even practicing in your dreams.
Yes. That's what I was reading in this too, that athletes will use that to practice their sport in dreaming, which is dedication.
Right? You live it every moment.
So another good thing lucid dreaming is good for is creativity if you're an artist or a musician, because it helps open your mind and exercise your use of imagination by exploring and creating your dreamscape. So the process of making active decisions through your dreams versus passively experiencing them helps you make creative connections, and you can test things out and see how they work in a dream before applying them to a future creative endeavor. So you can like build, if you're an architect, you could like build something in your dreamscape to see how it would translate into real life, which is so neat, like being a master architect, like in your dreams
and in real life.
You save a lot of money doing that too, right?
Yeah, right. And it's just like very therapeutic for people with depression and stuff, because it's so creative and fun and vibrant when you're lucid dreaming. So yeah, as I was saying, it mostly happens spontaneously, but I'm gonna tell you guys about some of the techniques you can use to train your mind to notice its own consciousness, and to also help you regain and maintain your consciousness as you enter your REM state.
Cool.
So tip 1 would be make your bedroom hospitable for dreaming. So that means keeping your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet as much as you can. So some people will use blackout curtains. Personally, I like to use those eye masks to block out the ambient light, and you can do the same with sound by using earplugs or a white noise machine. I wouldn't recommend like using your TV to fall asleep to, because that will implant things into your head as you're falling asleep.
And the light bothers you too.
And the light too is not,
Take blue light.
Yes.
Bad.
Yeah, and they say you should also do a calming bedtime routine. So when I was doing my past life regression dreams, I would always do a chakra aligning meditation and fall asleep saying my intent in my head, which is actually one of the points that we'll get to. But different activities you can do would be like taking a warm bath, practicing aromatherapy or meditation. And you want to be clear-minded. At the end of the day, all these things are to be clear-minded. Another thing I learned is you shouldn't eat 3 hours before bed. You shouldn't do anything with screens 3 hours before bed, because those will infiltrate your brain. They will not let you be clear-minded. They will influence and manipulate your dreamscape. So maybe just read a book and then meditate, and then that would put you in a clear-minded place.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll start reading
The
books before
second
bed.
tip, you should. It's really calming too, and gets your brain focused. Like it requires so much more focus to read than it does just like
Watch
taking
TV.
in TV, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So not only are you training your brain to focus, but then followed by meditation, you're clearing it after.
I don't know. Every time I read at nighttime, I feel like I'm going to fall asleep. Like I like to read during the day, but that's just me.
Well,
But I'm going to try it.
You could do some like exercise or anything, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Play some music, like learn an instrument. There's all kinds of things. Take a warm bath. That's one of my favorite ones. And while you're in the bath and you're just washing away your sins,
your daily
of the day,
sins.
yeah. While you're in the bath too, try to let all the thoughts that are taking up space in your mind just kind of pass before you, and
Or
as they go,
drain away in the water and
acknowledge
neutralize
them and release them into the water, and then come out anew.
Yes. Water is very cleansing. So
It is.
I could see that.
A dream journal, that would be the second thing. So keep a dream journal in by your bed. And the moment you wake up, write down everything you remember from your dream.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use a voice memo on your phone if that's easier for you.
I've been using that.
Yeah. One thing I read is that they actually recommend using a dream journal app over those two traditional methods, because the apps that they have for journaling dreams, they actually will allow you to search for reoccurring themes and symbols and people in your dreams, which goes on to the next point of recognizing your dream signs. So by being able to see reoccurring elements in your dreams, it'll actually make you more able to notice them when you're in a dream state, because now you're aware that it makes you aware, oh, I'm dreaming, because this is a thing. Yeah, it's a trigger, because you know in your waking life that that's a reoccurring thing in your dreams.
Have you ever looked at the clock in your dream?
Oh,
Or a
you
phone?
can't actually.
I have.
Well, you can, but like they say that when you're dreaming, you shouldn't be able to read text or time. And if you do,
I do in my dreams.
When you look away and look back, it should change on you the few times. If you can actually read it, it's supposed to be like weird. But for the most part, they say that that's also triggers to know that you're dreaming. I learned that in the movie Waking Life. You can check the light levels, because apparently you can't change the light levels in a dream.
What do you mean? In what?
Like
On your phone?
like
or
Go up,
switch your
walk up
lights
to
on.
a switch and try to put it off and on. Like
Really?
you can't turn it off. Like the light level will stay on, right? Because
It's always lit in your dreams.
It won't, yeah, it's always lit in your dreams, baby.
I'm so excited to go to sleep tonight.
Yeah, so you can try the light levels, try reading text, and try looking at the clock, as Trinity was saying. And that's actually one of the tips that I was going to list too. Another one is performing reality checks. And this one I think is a little bit tedious, because you have to like ask yourself 10 times a day, like, am I dreaming?
Mm-hmm.
So they say like press your finger into the palm of your hand and ask yourself, am I dreaming? And do it with the intent that your fingers should go through your hand. And then when they don't, it's like apparently your way of testing your reality. But they say, as I said, you have to do it like 10 times a day to get into the habit, so that hopefully when you're in the dream, you'll ask yourself the same question and be able to recognize that you're dreaming, basically.
Okay.
That one I would say is just like a little tedious to do.
What if you're a person in the waking world
Yes.
and you constantly check your phone? I was never able to see my electronics. Like
I never see phones at all in my dreams.
no one in my lucid dream had electronics either.
Well, I've seen phones recently in my dreams. Only up until the fact that I've been telling you, Star Fox, that I don't see phones, and
Yeah.
then I just started seeing phones
The
in my
same
dreams.
thing happened to me. Me and Trinity had this conversation about how we never see phones in dreams. And then right after that, we both had a dream with a phone in it.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the heck? Did we speak it into existence? Like,
Right? We spoke
is
it into our dreams.
Yeah, is it our mind being like, haha, bitch, like, I'm going to pull one over on you? Like, I don't even know. So another one is using the MILD technique, so MILD, which is mnemonic induction to lucid dreaming, which is one of the things I used naturally when it was just setting your intention as you're falling asleep. Just say like a mantra over and over the same phrase. I know that I am dreaming. I know that I am dreaming. I know that I am dreaming. And fall asleep saying that to yourself. And that encourages your brain to be aware when you begin dreaming, and increases your chances of having a lucid dream.
Cool.
Setting your intentions. It's very important throughout life, not just in the dream.
I was just about to say that. It's so important to set intentions daily.
Oh, and Trinity, you are the best person I know for that. Anytime we eat a sandwich, we spark a spliff, like
Drink
you are
a glass of
setting the
water.
intentions to the
Yeah.
nines with that, yeah?
Yeah, you can do it with cooking
And I love
too.
that about you. One of my favorite things. Use the waken back to bed technique. So wake yourself up and then fall back asleep. And they say to set an alarm to go off 4.5, 6, or 7 hours after you fall asleep. And they have to be those numbers specifically because based off of like the body, Acadia, or the rhythms of the body, that's usually when one enters the REM state at 4.5, 6, and 7 hours. So you choose those times, you set your alarm, and when your alarm goes off, they say you should wake up for 30 to 60 minutes and like do a little jog or something.
Imagine just
Don't
start
go
jogging
on your phone because that'll
on
defeat
the
the
spot.
purpose. You'll implant like ideas in your head. But honestly, I've done this and you don't need even 30 minutes. Like I wake up, take a pee, let the dog pee, get a new glass of water, and then when I go back to bed, I go right into dream state. But it could be different for everybody. Like
Yeah.
some might need more stimulation and some might need less, but you want your brain to wake up while your body stays sleeping. So too much activity, I won't go back to bed again because I'm up, right?
Yeah.
So it's different for different people. My boyfriend, on the other hand, he can fall asleep on command almost, like that guy. So it would be different for him, I'm sure. And then the last one, which I thought was just like hilarious, is take up video gaming. Because video gaming is very similar to lucid dreaming.
Oh.
You are in a world that you are in control of.
Yeah.
And you are, especially in those ones is like Minecraft where you're building things
Yep.
as you go. That's pretty much lucid dreaming, but in your brain, right?
Yeah.
So by practicing those things, it can also help you learn to behave the same way in your dream life because that is what you're doing in your waking life already. So those are most of the important tips. And what I'm going to share with you guys next is just like certain physical elements like crystals and various herbs that you can use to really up the ante.
Awesome.
And if you ever want to wake up from a lucid dream, because the tricky thing is you already know you're sleeping. Usually when you realize you're sleeping, you wake up. But in a lucid dream, you realize you're sleeping and you don't wake up. So how do you wake up? If you find you get stuck, some things you can do is call for help and start yelling. Like, it's time to wake up, wake up. And if you manage to speak out loud, you might wake yourself up.
And everyone else who's around you. That's
Everyone
okay.
else is around you. Wake up! Wake up! Could you imagine? Like, what? I'm up. You can blink repeatedly because blinking will help get your mind ready to wake up. This one, which I thought was really trippy, was fall asleep in your dream. So if you're aware you're dreaming, go to sleep and then you will wake up in real life, which is such a trippy thing to think about. Yeah, or you can try to read a book in your dream and it will activate the parts of your brain that aren't used in REM.
You just kind of construct this book in your hand. It's like, okay, you're in a lucid
Right.
dream. It's like command book in hand and just
A
appears.
compendium of memoirs.
Yes.
What do you think that book would say?
I don't know.
It's probably
Talk
the
about
Akashic
lucid dream.
Records.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
Maybe
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to make a checklist of everything that I have to do in my
The
dreams.
Akashic Records, like, I was going to tell you guys my experience with that, but I honestly think we should do a whole cast on it.
Yeah,
and that would
we'll
probably
save
be
that
a
one.
better, a better story for that time. But
Cool.
it's some crazy stuff. So we'll start with, like, I'll just name 4 of each, 4 herbs and 4 crystals you can use. So the first one's wild asparagus root.
Oh, wow.
I love asparagus.
Me too.
So
What's
I'm
the
going to give
difference?
you guys some backgrounds of this too. What's up, Seven?
What's the difference between the root and the vegetable?
Well, the vegetable usually sticks out of the ground, and the root goes into the
No,
ground.
I know that. No, but I'm saying like, what does the root have that the top half doesn't?
The ability to lucid dream.
The magic.
Is
Yeah,
it,
I'm not sure.
Is
like,
it meant just for the tea? Is that like, could I make it as a tea or could I eat asparagus?
Yeah. No. Asparagus. I don't think asparagus is the
Asparagus,
same as the root.
it
It's
will
like
just make your pee
dandelion.
smell.
It's like dandelion. The leaves have different properties than the roots, and
Yeah.
the roots are often
Same with weed. Marijuana is the same too.
The roots are often
Yeah.
the strongest part because
Okay.
it's just like the soul of the plant. It's where it came from. It's its essence. It's where the seed, made itself into something. So
Okay.
so it's often like whatever healing properties a plant have, it's even highly concentrated in its root.
Okay.
So the Chinese word for wild asparagus root is tianmendong, which
Can you
means
say that again?
tianmendong.
Rolls off the tongue.
It translates into a heavenly spirit herb.
Oh, cool. I like that.
And for millennia, it's been cherished by shamans and monks and yogis for its heart-opening effect. It's also known as the flying herb, which I love.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's
I'm going to
believed-
look for this.
the flying herb?
Yeah, the asparagus root.
Well, yeah, the flying. Yeah.
Yeah, known as the flying herb.
We might have some.
It should be pretty easy. I know Herbie Herbs. I was looking into it after reading about this. That you can buy some there. So the wisdom schools of ancient China, they placed a lot of value on dream work, namely lucid dreaming. And and so they called it the flying herb too because it helps one fly through the universe at night, achieving magnificent dreams. And in Chinese folk medicine, it's believed that this particular herb has a direct and positive effect on the heart energy. It's supposed to dissolve the dualities that come with our physical incarnation.
I'm just going to sneak this in some people's teas.
Yeah, right? Spiking everyone with asparagus root. Love that. And it just allows your consciousness to bloom into infinite space while you sleep, which is like...
That's cool. I like that.
Such a lovely thought. How you would take it is brewed in a tea, as fresh or dried, but it's always better to do it fresh because it's more potent that way. So the second one would be valerian root.
Oh, I've taken that before.
Yeah, I was going to say, haven't you told me about valerian root before? Because it sounded really familiar when I just read the word.
It's good. I believe it's also good for inflammation. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. I think I read that.
Sounds like a herb straight out of Game of Thrones. The valerian root.
It does. Wait, isn't there a species like valerians, the valerians or something? I swear I watched something and
I don't know.
that is a species. Anyways, so this herb's used in folk medicine, or has been used in folk medicine for centuries as well. And it has a calming aid, it's a muscle relaxant, and it promotes deep sleep. And because lucid dreaming usually requires a heightened state of slumber, it's become a common reported side effect of eating or ingesting valerian root. So many also report that it greatly improves your ability to remember your dreams thereafter. So imagine a herb that not only promotes deep states of sleep, but it creates fertile grounds and for vivid dreams and boosts your ability to remember what happened the next morning.
I'll take a dozen.
Yeah, so this is one of the best ones you can take out of all four, from what I read. And the only thing you want to note is if you are an expecting mom, you want to avoid it because there's not enough information available regarding its effects on pregnant women. So they say it's better to just
don't.
Yeah, just to avoid it for now. Again, you brew it in a tea, but with this one, you want to make sure the water is hot and not at a boiling temperature because it preserves the delicate oils that are in the roots.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get it as a tincture, too, from a lot of health food stores.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to look into that.
Yeah. The third one's mugwort.
Ooh, I always take that.
I know. You're a mugwort fan. Your mugwort is my wormwood. And they're very similar actually in how they're taken, what they taste like, and so
they're bitter, but
they're very
okay.
they're very pungent.
Yeah.
So they're very common throughout the Americas, Europe, Asia, and mugwort has a rich history of use, both medicinally and metaphysically. So the people who use this the most would be the Celtics, the Norse, and the Native Americans. And in Celtic and Norse mythology, it's known to be a magical plant that can ward off evil, and they used to hang it in their doorways and burn it as an incense, like we do sage, to clear stagnant air and prevent illnesses. So in the Chumash natives in California, they refer to mugwort as molush, and that translates literally into dream plant. Yeah, and it's often smoked in indigenous ceremonies.
We got to try this.
Right? We should. And it's hailed by various tribes for its power to ward off evil, bad spirits, diseases.
What?
And many say it's known for its dream-enhancing effect, and many report that it magnifies the brilliance of color and overall duration of your slumbering journeys.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it grows just about everywhere, which is the best part. And which is so funny, the sacred herb that reportedly heightens your consciousness is just sprouting all around us and nobody's utilizing it.
Yep, Mother Gaia is telling us something.
Yes.
Sounds about right.
And the one that didn't come up on the top 3 list was wormwood, which I wanted to mention myself because the one and only time I achieved lucid dreaming was when I was taking wormwood for a parasitic cleanse.
Yes, I remember
And-
that. You were telling me some profound things that I needed to know in my life. It was like the angels were working through you to tell me because you were like a superstar, a conduit to source.
It's a crazy. And when I was on the wormwood, the lucid dream I had, like once I finally figured it out and that I was doing it, I was like, woo! And I went flying around through my hometown. I was just flying around, like feeling what it's like to fly, which is like the most liberating thing ever.
Of course.
And then when I finally got over it and like came back down, I said, okay, what should I do now? And then I was like, I want to see my child. Am I going to have a child? Like I'm trying to manifest. And as I said this, my boyfriend appears before me and he pushes into my my sacral chakra. And as he does this, a baby wrapped in a pink blanket falls into my arm
so
from the
cute.
sky. And suddenly I'm looking into the eyes of my future child. I know it was like, if I ever have a child, this was my child. I felt it as soon as I looked into her eyes that this was
So beautiful.
the baby girl I was going to have someday.
Yes.
And yeah, shout outs to wormwood for bringing that experience on. And wormwood is used for digestive issues, loss of appetite, upset stomach, muscle pain, memory loss, pain release. There's literally so many uses for it, just like mugwort. And you could smoke it also or drink it as a tea. I wouldn't recommend doing it tea style because it's
More
very
potent.
it's hard to swallow. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I would smoke it, or you can take most of these things I mentioned as a pill too. A lot of naturopathy places and herb selling places will have them. When I did my cleanse, I did it in pill form. And you know what? Wormwood is actually what they use to make absinthe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which a lot of old artists and authors used to use absinthe to get their creative juices flowing.
Oh, yeah.
And even after the cleanse was over, not only was I free of parasites, but the effects of the wormwood on my dream life lasted for weeks thereafter. And I was just like a conduit for messages from the great beyond.
That's cool.
It was awesome. It was a really good time. We should all do wormwood.
I'm
Let's get
so excited to do
wormwood.
this.
So let's move on to the crystals that we can use for lucid dreaming. So I'll name 4 of the most handy ones. The classic amethyst, which is one of the most common ones.
Holy amethyst.
Not just as a crystal, but for dreaming as well.
Star Fox is an amethyst whore.
Yes, I am. I've used that name myself. You're not just saying that, you know?
yeah, she loves it. Like,
Yes, rainbow fluorite is been my number 1 spot. Amethyst would be second, and labradorite as a close third. And they're all found in my native land of Canada. So yeah, it allows a person to gather information from their dreams and connect spiritually with the metaphysical plane. And it's known to radically connect one to your third eye chakra, as we all know, which is also your purple colored chakra. It enables the user to take control of their dreams and receive messages from the beyond. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. It just
from
seemed
the
right.
beyond.
And it's good for astral traveling. And how you would use it is just keep it on your third eye. Obviously, use a smaller piece of it. I would recommend raw, but you could also use a polished pebble because it might be less intrusive. Put it on the middle of your forehead where your third eye is, just above your brow. And just meditate with it on in that spot before you sleep. And then as you sleep, just keep it near you, like on your nightstand next to you. The next one would be your angel aura, the angel aura, which is a white transparent stone with
I have that.
with rainbow hues. It can
Yeah.
also come in colors, but this one's supposed to be the white one.
Love it.
And it's also known as opal aura, and this is an amazing crystal quartz type of rock, and it's combined with precious metals such as platinum and other various things, which is what gives it its hue. It's a rainbow hue, and it's known to induce lucid dreaming and help you connect with the astral plane as well. It's a powerful stone, and it's best not to keep it with you every night because it will induce powerful visions, and it could lead to difficulty sleeping.
I have it like right beside my bed.
Oh, perfect.
I keep it right there.
Well, that's what you would want to do, is keep it near you, meditate with it again.
Yep.
And some people want to keep it under their pillow, but I would recommend against that because then you have the probability of losing the stone. It could fall out from under your pillow at night and break.
Exactly.
And if it is very strong and powerful, you might not want to have it like directly under your head at night because it could create too much of an energy flow.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Okay.
Yeah.
So the second one is moldavite, the infamous moldavite.
Oh, moldavite. Moldavite is so expensive.
Yes, and it's becoming increasingly rare and harder to find.
Yep, it's hard to find.
There's a lot of fakes out there too. So if you already have it and you know it's authentic, go with this one, but don't go leaping through hoops to find this for lucid dreaming. So it yields the best result out of all the crystals. That being said, because it has a superior energy, but it's very difficult to meditate with.
Yeah, because it's not like too smooth.
Yes, and it's overly stimulating.
Yeah.
So you want to be in a relaxed state, and it can be a little intrusive for that. And some people, it takes months for them to get comfortable with its strong aura. But it does induce very vivid dreams. And again, you would just try meditating with it, see if you're comfortable with the stone. And if your heart starts feeling heavy or rapid, then you probably want to use something a little softer and work your way up to the moldavite.
Wow. I'm looking at a picture right now.
Isn't it like...
It looks otherworldly.
It does. It looks very like alien-y. The ripples in it, and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like an ancient crystallized booger.
From the gods.
But yeah, it has that green alien like aura about it, right? From the gods, serious. I mean, boogers
Straight from their nose.
are close to the brain. So the last one, and one of our best friends, shout out to Amanda. Her favorite stone is moonstone.
Yep.
It's milky white, but it also can have black in it as well and be kind of speckled. So it's kind of the exact opposite of the moldavite energy. And they're both M words, which is moonstone and moldavite. So it brings forth a very soothing, calming energy for lucid dreaming, and meditating with the creamy, milky moonstone is very easy and often calming and sleep-inducing. It has a very natural, calming aura to it. It creates a shield around you too that helps keep EMF radiation basically from penetrating your aura. So with this one, you want to hold it against your chest to open the stream of your heart chakra before placing it on your forehead, on your third eye, about halfway through. And then that will induce a state of lucid dreaming when the time comes to go to beddy bye. And out of all the crystals for lucid dreaming, the most effective for connecting with your subconscious feelings and thoughts would be moonstone.
Cool.
Yeah. So those are. Do you guys have any experience of meditating with those stones or?
No. To be honest, I don't really use stones to meditate with. I usually just use myself. I've looked into doing that, but some of my stones are just really heavy and I just don't want to hold them.
Yes, they're big specimens.
Yeah,
yes.
right? So, I haven't tried that. But now that you're saying to induce lucid dreaming, I might just grab a little piece of moonstone that shout out to Amanda gave me. And like put it on my heart chakra, try putting it onto my third eye afterwards. And I'm definitely going to look into this more now that we're speaking about it.
But yeah, they can be really great tools to add into your meditation when you're looking for a specific outcome.
Yep.
Because they will help manifest that energy for you by providing it already, and then you build off of it through your meditational process. You know what? And two, we can also get into crystals even deeper.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that in
on another day too, because I have 1,000 more things to say. But for today, I think we'll end it on that crystalline note.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being with us here today for your weekly dose of stellar gnosis.
And if you'd like to contact us, you can do that by emailing us at stellargnosis@protonmail.com. Thank you guys. We love you.
Sweet lucidic dreams.
See you next week.